Good morning, everybody. I have my morning cup of coffee. I'm going to sit here and drink my coffee while we discuss something that took a completely different direction than I thought it would. So I have been obsessed with finding something that would help the rash that I get across my face. So let's backtrack a little bit, talk a little bit about the rash, some of the things that I was trying to do for it, and then let's discuss what really helped the rash. So I get a face rash across my face, on my chin, and it's pretty significant. You can't see it today because it's cleared up, thank goodness. But usually I would get it. I started noticing I would get it every time I eat, and then it would last all day long. And then I started trying to figure out, was it certain types of foods causing it? What makes it worse? And I did realize that cheese or dairy products did make it worse. But that's about as far as that got. I was fasting, not fasting, eating, not, I mean, you name it, I tried it. I was changing up foods because I just, the rash was not only extremely apparent across my face, but it also sometimes kind of hurt. It was sometimes a little itchy. It just wasn't a fun time. It wasn't. So I talked to my doctor about it, and he diagnosed it as lupus face rash. He's like, that's a lupus rash. It's going to come and go. There's nothing you can do about it. But we all know I don't like doing nothing about it because I thought that's impossible. It's impossible for me to get a rash every single day and nothing help it. Nothing. So I started researching as much as I could. Now, was it a lupus face rash? It wasn't the butterfly type rash that we get with lupus. It was a definite rash with bumps, and it looked like I was breaking out in pimples everywhere. It would always come on my nose, across here and here. Now, because of the markings or the shape that it made, they were convinced it was a lupus face rash. I have no idea if it was from having lupus. I do know in the last couple of years, it would materialize worse and worse. There's two types of face rashes that I get. So I get that face rash that I'm discussing today, and I also get the butterfly redness across my face. So that I am not discussing today because it's the other rash with the bumps that look more to me like some type of weird breakout, and it would come and go with food. That's the one I'm going to talk about. Now, yours may not come and go with food because, as I'm finding out, we're all so different, and all of the symptoms, everything that's popping up is different for every single one of us. So whereas I would get it eating, you may get it doing something else. I don't know. So how I attributed it to food is that most of the time I would wake up with a clear face. And then throughout the day, it would develop and get worse and worse and worse, probably because of eating, lunch, dinner, snacks, whatever. And then the next morning, I would start the process all over again. Now, sometimes it would get so bad that it would not go away overnight. It would get a little bit better, but still be there, and then get worse again throughout the day, where it would just kind of build up and be worse. I mean, it was bad. I didn't like it at all because, one, it's across my face. Two, you can try to cover it up with makeup, but you could still see I had tons of bumps on my face, and it just wasn't anything I wanted to deal with. I hated it. I really, really hated it. And there was no controlling it from what I could figure out. So I went down the path of buying all kinds of face products, all kinds of lotions, all kinds of creams. I mean, you name it. I studied it for inflammation. I studied it for, bacteria within lotion, the good kind of bacteria to help replenish my face. And I did so many things, and I'll make a video on some of those things that I did because Some of those things did help, but it just didn't help with the rash. It helped with other things attributed to autoimmune and lupus. But I found a cure for my particular face rash by accident. So I was studying up because, as you know, I'm trying to biohack my way right out of lupus, or at least biohack my way into being able to go on a family vacation and not worry about if my body is going to shut down on me or not. But I went down a complete rabbit hole on the root of all autoimmune diseases. And the articles that I were reading kept coming back to the stomach and not being able to digest food properly. And I thought, okay, well, I don't know if I'm digesting my food properly or not. So maybe I do need help with digestion. And the articles were convincing that most of us with autoimmune have some type of digestion dysfunction going on. And so I thought, well, that could be an easy fix. So I started reading up on it. What do you do if you suspect digestion issues? Are you digesting your food properly or not? So what I did was started reading tons of articles and trying to figure out, what do you do if you're not digesting? Okay, that's going to be a bad word for me today. What do you do if you're not digesting your food properly? And I went down that rabbit hole and I found a couple of products. I will show them to you in just a second. And I started taking them. Now, this wasn't my first time with these particular products. I had tried them in the past a couple of years ago, but I had no idea how to take them. So when I was taking them, I saw no benefit and stopped. Now I'm kind of mad that I didn't understand how to take them. And so I couldn't even verify if it was working properly or not. And so what I assumed was not working well, or that I didn't need them, was just me not taking them correctly. So that we're going to talk about today. So when I was studying digestion and how it attributes to autoimmune, I came across a couple of solutions. One was this for digestion. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus on it. For digestive support. So it's Betaine HCL. And the articles and the studies and the reviews that I was reading said that you can pick up this product, but to make sure it had pepsin in it, that was key. It had to have pepsin. So I'm like, okay. So this particular product, by now, I will link in the description so that you know exactly which one it is. This one does have pepsin. I made sure I read the ingredients. I read the directions. Like, I read anything there was to read, and it definitely has pepsin. The other thing that they said that you needed to take, so this was just a digestive support, and it helps you break down the food in your stomach. So I gave it a shot. It's not terribly expensive either. I think for this bottle, I actually picked this bottle up at my supermarket for about $14, maybe 15, unless I'm making those numbers up. It's about 14, 15, but you can also get it on Amazon. It's a little bit more expensive, but sometimes the stores run out of these things thanks to everything going on in the supply chain. So I have had to order it from time to time on Amazon as well. So the second thing that it said to help with digestion was enzymes. Let me see if I can get this to you. So I picked these up at my supermarket, enzyme caps. Now, what you need to make sure are in the enzymes is something called Ox Bile. Ox Bile had to be in the enzymes. So I got these out of studies. I read studies on the government website, NHIB, on studies that they performed, and then how did it work out? What happened to the participants, that type of thing. And this was something that's such an easy supplement to get my hands on. I figured, why the heck not? Now, remember, I was trying these supplements to see if I had good digestion or not. I didn't really know. I just knew that the articles kept saying, if you have anything autoimmune, and I have like, I don't know, 4 or 5 autoimmune issues at this point, I figured maybe my digestion is not well. So I started taking the Betaine HCL with the enzymes. And let me explain exactly how I take them. So I take them before I start to eat. I mean, like 2 seconds before I eat, I take these. So I take the Betaine and the enzymes all together. And then I'll discuss how many I take and why. But you take it all together and then I immediately start eating. Now, if you take them and you don't start eating, let's say you take them and the phone rings and you talk on the phone for 20 minutes instead of eating, you're going to get stomach like a heartburn or some type of stomach upset because you are putting digestive aids into your stomach and then not eating anything. That's a no-go. That's not fun. That is just something you have to avoid. So what I do is I get these ready. And then when I sit right before I sit down at the dinner table or to eat lunch or whatever, I pop the supplements and then I sit down and eat immediately. So let me backtrack a little bit to dosages and how I got to the dosage that I'm at, because that is key. You see, when I first tried these digestive aids 2 years ago, I had no idea how to take them. There's not a doctor that I went to that even knew what they were or didn't laugh at them. There wasn't a functional med doctor at the time that I was seeing, or even that I could go see at the time. And so all I could do was read and listen to other stories and try to figure it out for myself. Now, what I did in the beginning that was wrong is I read the directions on the back of these supplements. And this particular supplement for Betaine said serving size was 1 capsule and to take 1 with food, 1. So I tried that and I noticed nothing. I absolutely had no notices of anything and I stopped taking the supplement. I had no idea if it was or wasn't working and I was taking it really incorrectly. So let me preface this in here. I'm discussing with you what I take and how I take it and what I saw and read. For your particular circumstance, you have to do what is right for you. And if you need to ask a doctor and see what they have to say about it, because all of us are so different. I'm taking medications, you're taking medications that maybe these supplements don't mix with. And so that's what you need to find out. I'm not a doctor. I'm not any type of medical profession at all. I'm just a biohacker trying to get my way out of lupus and not being able to walk well. Like I am trying to just be able to walk around the block and do things. So before you do, I'm not suggesting you do these things. I'm sharing my stories with you in case it helps anybody out there. So like I said, in the beginning, when I took this, I took 1 like for 5 days or something with a meal and I felt nothing. And so I quit taking it. I thought, well, I have perfect digestion. I must not need them, but that's really not the case. So as I was reading the second time around about these supplements, just a second, I'm going to take a little bit of coffee. All right. The second time I was reading about these supplements, I was reading what needed to be in the supplements, which I didn't know that the first time, but also how a functional med doctor suggested you figure out your dosage. And that was key. So they said to start with the 1 capsule that is on the directions. So I started with 1 capsule of the Betaine and 1 capsule of the enzymes, or whatever the enzymes. Oh, actually the enzymes, the packaging says 2. Start with 2. So I started with 1 of the Betaine and 2 of the enzyme capsules per mil. That's all I did. And what the functional med person said was that if you take that amount and you notice nothing, you need to up the dosage. So I took that amount and noticed nothing, absolutely nothing. And I thought, okay, so the next meal, I took 2 of these and still just always kept it at the 2 for the enzymes. So I upped this one to 2 and then 2 enzymes. Again, I noticed nothing. So they said, okay, you're not at your proper amount yet. So what I ended up doing, every time I ate, I would add 1 of these. And the functional med doctor that was talking about this particular supplement said, you can add 1 every time you eat until you find discomfort. And I was like, what are they talking about? Discomfort? How many can you take before you hit that discomfort? And then what is it like? I had no idea. So I was just adding 1 capsule every single time I ate. And I wondered, where was my limit? So what it was doing was helping me digest my food. And what I ended up finding out for me personally is I ended up taking 3 of these with the Betaine, with the 2 enzyme capsules, every single meal. When I went up to 4 Betaine, I ended up having like a heartburn, I guess. I don't really have heartburn, so it was hard for me to describe, but I think it was heartburn, and it was pretty uncomfortable. Like it just did not feel good. And that was the uncomfortable feeling I was looking for. So I had hit my limit. And when you get to that uncomfortable feeling, then it told me to back off by 1. And there you have your magical supplement dose, I guess. So I did all of that. And I ended up, for me personally, every meal I take 3 and 2 enzymes, every single meal. So that ended up being my magic number. If I go up any higher than that, I get some type of heartburn feeling, and it's very unpleasant. Now, if you end up going too high and getting some type of unpleasant digestion feeling, it's really, really simple to fix. All you do is eat a little bit more protein and it goes away. So what is happening is it's helping you digest your foods. Now, you take this supplement by itself, but it's actually more effective if you take it with the enzymes. So when I first tried this, I only took this by itself. I had no idea that it needed to have pepsin. I had no idea that you even needed enzymes. And then I had no idea that the enzyme should contain ox bile. I don't even know what ox bile was or is, but this time I got this right. And what happened is I started taking these with every meal. I don't eat without taking these. Now, if I don't have a meal with protein, I don't take the Betaine, but I still take the enzymes. So this helps with protein breaking down. This helps with breaking down a little bit of everything. So if you don't have any protein in your meals, you can't take this. You'll get an uneasy feeling, some type of digestive issues. And like for me, it was just always some type of heartburn. But again, if you get that feeling, just eat some protein and it goes right away. So if I don't eat any type of protein, which sometimes can happen during snacks, if I happen to eat carrots or whatever, I'll just take a couple of these. And what magically happened with all of this is a clear face. So I didn't notice that it was these supplements at first. And what happened is I ended up clearing up my face. And I thought, is it the face products I just bought? Is it this? Is it that? I don't know. What happened is I am horrible at new supplement schedules. And what happens is if I happen to be out, I'm eating out, I didn't have any of these. I didn't have any of it. And I ended up eating meals without it. Guess what? Face rash came right back the next day. And I Well, I was coming on and off this new supplement wagon because I am horrible at new schedules. I mean, bad. I'm really bad. And that's probably has a lot to do with lupus brain, to be honest, which is I can be extremely forgetful. So what happened is the face rash came back with a vengeance because I was forgetting to take those most of the time. So I said, all right, let's see once and for all, is this clearing up the face rash or not? And I had a very bad case of it. It was bad. It didn't feel good. It hurt. It was just all across my nose, all across here, all across the chin. It was bad. And I started the supplements again, but this time I got a little bit smarter and I put some in my purse and I just keep them in a baggie or whatever you want to keep. I keep things in baggies, and I think maybe one day I should buy like an actual pill case for it or something, but I do old school baggies and sacks and whatever. So I put a baggie in my purse with a whole bunch of these and a whole bunch of the enzymes, and then just keep them in my purse or my pocket. If I know I'm not going to take my purse, I stuff them in my jeans pocket, and I just have them in there in case I happen to eat while I'm out. And what happened is I was able to get on a much more consistent schedule. No face rash. So because I'm trying to biohack and get some very specific answers, I decided to go off of them again because I like data and I like lots of data. It's just my character, my nature. I also have a job that deals with a lot of data. And so it's just who I am. So I went off of them again. And sure enough, immediately the face rash came back. And by immediately, I mean 1 meal or 1 day off of these, it all comes back with a vengeance. So I ended up going back on them again and then staying steadily on them, which I am doing now. I even have them when I go out, you name it. I have them. I have these with me. I'm taking them with every single meal that has protein. And if it doesn't have protein, I pop at least 1 or 2 of these, depending on what I'm eating, because sometimes I can eat a snack that's very, very light, like a carrot or half a carrot or something. Like it doesn't take much to help digest that. So I don't want to go overboard and take things that will bring on that crazy heartburn. But what's happened is I've consistently kept my face rash away. So this actually, I wasn't even trying to get the face rash to go away with these particular supplements. All I really wanted to do was help digestion if I was having a digestive issue. I had no idea it had anything to do with my face rash. I mean, I sort of had an idea because I knew food was causing it, but I didn't know it was from improper digestion causing it. I surely didn't know that. So this story actually turned out super, super funny because I bought so many face products for my face rash and had so many things that I tried to get rid of random rashes, and all along I was causing it with improper digestion. So is my digestion a mess? I've come to the conclusion, yes, it is. Did it contribute to some of my autoimmune conditions? I'm pretty sure it contributes to something because that rash is pretty nasty. And I'm sure having improper digestion breaks down the rest of your body's abilities to do things. So this is a step in the right direction for my biohacking experience. I'm super, super happy that it cleared up the rash. Now, if I skip it, like I said, if I skip any meals and continue to eat without it, the rash is terrible. It comes right back quickly. Even just eating out a few times without having these with me, I would mess my face up, like the rash would come back. So what I'm going to do is travel with them. I'm going to have them in my pocket. I'm going to have them in my purse. I might even put some in the car. I don't know. Like I just need them if I'm going to eat something. So Here's my thought process with this. I'm super happy that it cleared up my face rash. Didn't see that one coming by a long shot. And this is why I think biohacking your health is so interesting, because you end up finding something like this that makes me so happy because I have my face back. But also now I'm wondering, when you take these long term, what's around the corner for me to like get better? I don't know, because what was the bad digestion doing to my body? All I can assume it was doing was making me go down this crazy autoimmune rabbit hole. So what's around the corner? I don't know, but I'm really excited to see. So I'll do a couple of follow-up videos if I can attribute something to these supplements changing, or just overall change in health videos. But these supplements, I will have the links in the description so you can see exactly what it is, and maybe you want to find out if you have poor digestion or not. Now, will it clear up your rash? I have no idea. I have no idea, because whatever is dysfunctioning in my body, your body might be dysfunctioning in a different way. And so how it was showing up in my body might be different between me and you. But I do know, if there's anybody else out there like me, I hope that it helps, because having the face rash off of my face is like a big, huge win for me, because it bothered me a lot. So it was very apparent across my face. The doctor that I was seeing at the time was a rheumatologist. He was my specialist for lupus, and he could have cared less. He honestly could have cared less. He was like, oh, it's a lupus rash. It comes and goes. There's nothing you can do for it. Live with it. Try telling a woman that they need to live with a rash right across their face that makeup barely covers up. And it just looks like I'm just breaking out across my face all the time. And I was really uncomfortable with it. And it was something that I just wasn't happy with. So I was not happy with it for reasons of it making me look bad or whatever. But I also knew, if food was doing that to my face, what was it doing to my body? Like, what was happening inside there? I didn't really know, but if it was doing this, it was not good. It wasn't good. And so the fact that these supplements cleared up the face rash is like mind-blowing to me. It really, really is. And this is exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm going to keep doing this, because I am not the type of person that takes no for an answer. So when my doctor's like, oh, it's a lupus face rash, live with it for the rest of your life, I was like, no, sir, I am not. I'm going to figure out what's causing it and try to get it to stop. So I lived with it, going off and on for 2 years. And in the beginning, when I started noticing the face rash, it was mild or just a little bit, and almost like just red spots is how it started. And then through the last 2 years, it became progressively worse until it was at its worst, which was just in this pattern across here and here. And I think the pattern is why he was like, that is a lupus rash. And I know with lupus, rashes come and go. It's very common. Mine just happened to be on my face every single time. Whereas I've talked to other people with lupus and it's on their back, or it's on their stomach, or it's on their chest, or it's on their legs. Like, it's in all these random different spots for everybody, because we're all different. So like I said, I am not a doctor or a medical professional, but all I can do is tell you my story and hope that it resonates in some way and helps you. I will put the links to these supplements. These supplements are not crazy supplements. They did not have crazy side effects. The only thing I noticed was heartburn if I took too many, but I had to get to the heartburn phase to figure out what my proper dose was. And that was key, because when I started just taking 1 or 2, my rash was not clearing up. I wasn't noticing like the full benefits of this. So I had to keep going. And once I hit that level and then just went down 1 pill, I've stayed at that level for myself as long as I'm eating protein in the meal. Now, if I'm eating a meal that has less protein than normal, I will just take 2 or 1 even. I will just sort of back off of it. And it seems to be working. That strategy is working. So I'm going to keep doing it. I think I've covered all of this for you. So I just wanted to reiterate, when I first tried these supplements 2 years ago, I really wish I had known how to take them, how to figure out my optimal dose, and also what to expect when taking them so that I could figure out if they were really working or not. I'm glad that I happened to come across it a second time. I just wish I had figured that out 2 years ago, because I'm wondering, what could I have stopped from happening to my body had I been digesting my food properly? I don't know. So I hope these help you in some way. At least read up on it or do a little bit of research. I don't know how it will help you. I don't know if it will help you. I just know that, one, there's a lot of convincing studies and evidence that suggest improper digestion is at the root of autoimmune. That resonated with me because now I haven't had digestion issues or symptoms that led me to think I had improper digestion. I didn't have, IBS. I didn't have constipation. I didn't have diarrhea. Like, I didn't really have a lot of symptoms that said I'm not digesting my food properly. All I could do was think, is it the root of my autoimmune? I do not know. I'm going to find out. I tried it. Rash cleared up. So I will continue probably taking these for the rest of my life. I don't know what's in the future for me, but I do know this is helping keep the rash off of my face. And then what I'm wondering is, if I'm on these a year, 2 years, whatever, like, what's in store down the road? What is this stopping? What malfunctions is this helping with? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. So I hope this helped you in some way, shape, or form. If this subject matter is something that interests you, click the button to subscribe, because I am going to biohack my way into walking. I'm going to biohack my way into a healthier lifestyle so that I can live with autoimmune and still do all of the fun things in life. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.